the one who bows and the one who is bowed to are both by nature empty. Therefore the communication between them is inexpressibly perfect. Our practice center is the net of Indra, reflecting all Buddhas everywhere. And my own person reflects on the Buddha, to whom with my whole life I look for refuge. Offering light to the 10 directions, the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, to whom we bow in gratitude. Living and learning the way of awareness in the very midst of suffering and confusion. Shakyamuni Buddha, the enlightened one, to whom we bow in gratitude. I vow to avoid killing living things. I vow to avoid taking what is not given. I vow to avoid sensual misconduct. I vow to avoid false speech. I vow to avoid malicious speech. I vow to avoid harsh speech. I vow to avoid gossip. I vow to avoid covetousness. I vow to avoid ill will. I vow to avoid wrongdoing. Good morning. All right. This is Tuesday, so this is our special study group, and we're working with using as a reference the Wings to Awakening by Kanasai people. And we're on the chapter that concerns the 4 bases of power. And the reason that I spent a little extra time on this particular subject, although all 37 wings to awakening or all 37 factors of enlightenment are important to understand, but this is, for me, very basic. We talk about it being the basis for power, for supernormal powers. But it is also a foundation for accomplishment or success in anything that you do. That you need desire, you need intent, you need persistence in order to fulfill any dream, wish that you might have, any task, any accomplishment, any relationship that you'd like to bond with. It requires these mental factors, the development of these mental factors. I was reminded of this because I was watching an old Western movie the other day, and it was called Nevada Smith with Steve McQueen. And the story plot was bad guys came and killed his parents, and he started on this journey of revenge, this journey of making them pay for this transgression. But what I was aware of was the desire and persistence that he demonstrated in the movie. There was one sidebar, if you will, where 2 of the gang who killed his parents robbed a bank and they got caught and they were sent to this prison in somewhere in the South, Alabama, Mississippi. But when he found out that they had been arrested and where they were incarcerated, he went and robbed the same bank so that he could be locked up where they were, so he could get close to them. Now this just demonstrated to me, this highlighted to me what desire, what persistence, what intent is all about. Where we go that extra mile, where we dig a little deeper, where we push a little harder, where we do things outside the box even to accomplish what it is that we intend, or what our intent is to accomplish. And this is how we know whether we are employing those four mental factors, that is, again, desire, intent, persistence, and discernment, or investigation. So ask yourself, what we are studying throughout this process is the cookbook. It's the recipe book for spiritual development. And all of us at some times in our lives have wished for the cookbook. If we just understood what it was we were supposed to do, how we were supposed to be, if we understood how to effect that process so that it would empower us. We read all of the books that told us what we could be and told us what we were, but it didn't tell us how to get from where we were to what we could be. It didn't explain that process of jumping over that chasm. We recognized ourselves as woefully lacking in spiritual power. We couldn't heal. We couldn't give solace. We couldn't perform miracles. We couldn't walk on water. We asked, well, how do I get to the place where I can just behave myself consistently, where I'm not tripped up by my own actions or reactions? What will tell me how to do that? How do I begin to work with this thing that I call mind and consciousness, so that I can get on top of my own game, so that I can become in charge of myself and my own behavior? Well, we got the book. But if we don't crack it, if we don't read it, if we don't mark it up like we did our school books when we wanted to get that A from that English teacher or that geometry teacher, if we don't tear it apart, if we don't employ the suggestions that the book uses to say, here is how you develop yourself, then the investigation tells us that our desire is too slack, that we are not strong enough in our persistence, in our pursuing, in our honoring of our intent. We say to ourselves, we want to be this way. We want to be this for the world. We discuss it every time we come in. But if you're not meditating every day, or if you're not meditating twice a day, you remember that these monastics and ascetics meditated day and night. Now, it isn't, in my opinion, necessary to do that, because we've got other obligations. You're not monastics. You have other things that are important to you, and you have people who are looking up to you and looking out for you and worrying about you. And so you have an obligation to them also. But ultimately, we all have an obligation to reality, to perform the best way we can, to show the world our best. We've got enough folk out there pulling their pants down and bending over. It's up to us. It's up to those who have developed the blessing, the karma, to use the books to practice the ways of the ancient ones, so that we can have a renaissance. And we talk about, have you seen the light? Have you looked inside and seen the light that resides inside of you? That renaissance, that rebirth, that brightening, that coming back into your own. So, investigation, that last mental factor. Use that every day. Ask yourself, did you do what would demonstrate to others and to yourself a strong desire, a strong intent, a strong persistence? You know, we stayed with the efforts, the right efforts, again, because we wanted to use that factor of investigation to see whether I'm really trying hard enough